Hello, it's Kim from Kim Taylor Ultimate Speaker, bringing you Momentum Monday and the next Ultimate Speaker TV episode. Hey, look, I thought we'd just take a little chat. I've been doing the live tour around the major cities in Australia, and one of the things that I've noticed is that there seems to be a little bit of uncertainty around how to have conversations with people when you're networking, which was one of the main reasons why I did this on the live tour. So what we covered were some of the key things of how we need to come in. So when we're going into our networking events, how do we need to show up? How do we need to prepare ourselves so that we're going in as the people that we expect others to show up as? What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is, like, when you go in, you're doing a presentation or workshop or you're doing a networking event, it's really important that you show up the way that you would like others to show up for you. Tony Robbins says it so beautifully, where he says, you know, we expect people to say certain things and be a certain way and show up a certain way. But then he questions, are we showing up as those people ourselves? You know, are we showing up the way we expect others to? So this is just a reminder before I give you some key things around how to do the conversations better and feel better about networking. Just a reminder that that's such an important part, is like, how are you showing up? So let's just take a look at what you can be doing when it comes to your networking conversations. One of the very, very first things is to acknowledge the other person. It is such a beautiful way of when you go up to someone and say, oh, gee, I really liked what you said when you introduced yourself earlier. Just some key words, or there's some key things that came through from that and that I really resonated with, as an example. Or you could say something like, they're wearing a beautiful piece of jewelry. So you go up and say, wow, you know, if it's a lady who's wearing a beautiful pendant or something, it's like, wow, what a beautiful pendant. So that's, you know, starting an icebreaker, and is a way of going up, give them a smile and acknowledge them for something that they might have said, how you might feel around them, something that they might be doing that you want to acknowledge. Maybe it's the charity work that you know about that they're doing in their business. So an acknowledgement of some kind goes a really long way. And when you do it, you will notice how people just light up when you start to talk to people like that, and they go, oh, you know, it feels good. And that's a beautiful way. So you start your conversations like that. I don't see a lot of it happening out there, and this is something that everyone in the room, at each of the live events that I've just been doing, the workshops, this is, everyone's like, oh yeah, it feels good, and it does feel good. So I encourage you to do that. The next thing is to engage people. You know, engage them on, get curious about what they're doing. A big part of networking is building the relationship. It's about creating the connection. And if you're going in, I mean, if you ask someone, if you were to ask someone, and I've done this, and I've asked them at the half-day workshops, how many of you go into workshops or go into networking events with the intention to buy something? And not one of them put their hand up. It's like, well, maybe sometimes, but in actual fact, they're there often to promote their business. They're not there to buy. So the reason why I share that is that if we go with the intention of selling our product, we're going to be disappointed, because people are there. They need to know, like, and trust you before they'll buy in to what you're offering. So go with the intention of getting curious. That's the second thing. So acknowledge and start a conversation. Get curious about them as step number 2, where you want to know what they're about. What are their interests? What drives them in their business? What got them started in their business? Chat, or even if it's not even starting about with the business questions, start with what brought them into the networking event. What drew them in? Was it the keynote speaker? Was it the particular network? And what was it about the network that interests them? So it's really about getting curious about them. What are their interests? And I know it feels good when I share a story where this lady at one of the key business connect groups where she took a particular interest because we have a Rottweiler and she remembers her name, and it's beautiful because when we meet up, she says, "Oh, how is Bella going?" And it's a real feel good. And I've also experienced the opposite, when someone's not taken time or curious or said something like, "Oh, I'm just making small talk. I'm not really interested in what you're doing." That's essentially what they're not saying. So there's two, when you get curious about what someone is about and their interests, then it becomes a lovely way to, again, continue that conversation. People will remember you for all the right reasons. And then it's about, the third thing to remember is it's about how can you collaborate? Look at the ways that you can refer them to other businesses. Look at the ways that you can work together. Perhaps you can find a way to put a workshop together where your values are aligned, where your work complements each other. And have a chat around that as well. But it's also about looking at different industries and working out, well, look, you're an accountant, so you have your own industries and seminars, and then they might be financial planning or they might be in health. So it's like work together within each other's and introduce each other into other conferences, other industries, because that's a beautiful way for you to expand your reach, but it's also a great way for them to expand their reach as well. So that's all part of that collaboration. So there's some quick tips on how to do it. There's so much to share with you, and it's just a slice, but let me know how you go with that, because those are three key things. Smile and acknowledge. Get curious and ask questions about the other person, the other people. Get to know how you can work together, how you can help each other. Collaboration is such a big part of networking. And above all, with all of this, it's about remembering to show up. How are you showing up as the person you expect others to show up? And when you do that, and people see that, and they will resonate, they will respond to that. And the more you consistently do this, the more you'll be remembered as the person who helps others to achieve their goals. So there's some quick tips. And if you'd like some more information, you'd like some more tips, why not private message me or book in a session with me, complimentary, and we can have a conversation. All right, so take care. Let me know how you go. Enjoy your week until next time, and I'll see you then. Bye now.